Yo, we got someone in here? Or is it glitching thinking I'm in there? Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, you don't belong in here, bud. Please leave. No. No. This isn't where you want to be. Hopefully that bee leaves. Oh, yo, what's up, man? Play CS? What's CS? Oh, is that what you're doing right now? Or are you saying I should do that while I stream? You know, at some point, I would actually really like to game at the same time that I'm doing this. But things like this, the bullet feeder, jamming, kind of prevents me from that, unfortunately. That was the idea, though, originally. I've never really gotten to the point where I can do that. Honestly, if I can just get that bullet feeder to not jam the way that it does, then I could 100% game at the same time that I do this, which would be so sick. But, dude, it's jamming a lot, and it's pissing me off. Like, literally, constantly at this point. And I'm thinking I might have to take it apart. Just the bullet feeder. So I'll pause this for a second so I can explain it to you. So on this machine, I have a bunch of different dies that do different various things. This first initial die that it goes through sizes the casing. It sizes the rim of the casing at the top for the rest of the process. Then after that one, I have my powder dispenser, which is this guy with the powder tube on it. Then after that, I have my powder sensor, which senses if powder actually dispensed properly or not. Whether there's too little powder, too much, none at all. It will detect that for me. Then after that, I have the bullet feeder, or bullet dropper, which is this guy that you can see my hand is behind right now. That's what I'm having the issue with. I've even installed a vibrator that I have electrical tape taped it down to this top part, this black part, which has a feeder arm that will communicate to the bullet feeder whether or not there's bullets in there or not. If there's not bullets stopping it, then it knows that it needs to keep feeding. The problem is I'm having bullets get stuck on the sensor arm, which is causing the bullet feeder to not know that it needs to keep feeding bullets. Well, obviously that's a problem, because in order to put a cartridge fully together, it needs a bullet on the top, obviously. And so that's really the one issue I'm having at this point. If you go look at my Instagram, I actually just made a reel of me replacing this shell plate spring. That's what that's called, because it was damaged right there, as you can see, which was causing malfunctions. And so I just replaced that, which was my only issue at the time. Now the only issue I'm down to right now is the bullet feeder. So if I can get that to reliably always feed, then in theory, I would be down. I could literally let this machine run on its own because there's checks and balances in place to prevent the cartridges from not being built properly, and the machine will actually stop itself. So for example, if I have a powder measure issue, then the powder sensor will tell the computer that the powder is improper and then stop the machine. I also have a bullet sensor, which is a laser system that the bullet needs to stop the laser from going into its sensor panel. And as long as there's a bullet there, obviously it will prevent that. But if that laser goes into the sensor panel, then it will error out the machine and prevent it from continuing to operate. And so I have sensors in place that would allow this machine to run essentially completely on its own without supervision. But having that bullet drop issue is super annoying, because even if it stopped the machine, then I'd have to restart the machine anyway. And so right now I'm supervising that, and I have to just manually tap it with my hand, like so, to get the bullets to continue dropping. But yeah, anyway, if I could fix that issue, then this machine would be fully automated. It would require, well, and now we just had a different issue, which is one gunpowder. Oh, you're saying like use baby powder to like, well, so yeah, buffing it would be the right answer, honestly. So that's probably what I'll do, is take it apart and buff everything. And then I also will use this really good like oil that I use on all of my stuff to keep it working properly. That wouldn't be something I would grease. There's certain things I'll grease, and there's certain things I'll oil. Obviously, you understand that, being a dirtbag guy. But I just had a powder failure, which worries me, because I haven't been having that, and that was also another issue. So give me a second to vacuum, because that's going to be annoying as shit. Alright, you have to be conscientious too, like just now, the powder thing had a glitch, and so it actually dispensed powder at the top, which is not something that I ever want. And so actually what I'm going to do is take what I have currently made, set it to the side. Man, my bin's getting full, man. I'm gonna need another bin to put more ammo into. Probably need to start, maybe this is a good opportunity to just start counting. I'll do like my final inspection, because if this powder dispenser is going to be glitching out on me, that's not worth continuing operation. I'll have to dive into it. It's so funny, dude, because I've been streaming for 50 minutes now, and I haven't had any issues. It's so funny how that works, man. But I'm gonna at least attempt to do this. Turn this off and back on just to see if I can get it to work right again. So I'll use my handy dandy cup here to catch the powder, because the arm, the dispenser arm, is that loose? The dispenser arm has to be in the up position, which when it goes into the up position... What's up with you, man? Or are you saying you're bad luck being here? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you know what? I should have unplugged this wire and plugged it back in. Because usually, in the past, that's what's fixed it. Let's just go ahead and do a single cycle. And see, you're not bad luck, man. These machines are just the way that this is the way it is, really. It's just coincidentally when you showed up. But I'm going to attempt a single cycle right now. And I'll bring you over here so you can watch. So I'll attempt a single cycle here. Let's see if it... Watch this arm. This shouldn't dispense until it compresses all the way down to the bottom. There it is! It did it. It's doing it again. Yep. Turning it off and back on to not fix it. So next, I'm going to obviously clean up that fucking mess. First of all. Before I do anything else. Because that powder fucks shit up. So I'm going to take all these casings out. So there's no casings on the shell plate. Well, as many as I possibly can take off, so it's easier to clean, because at this point we obviously have a pretty decent malfunction happening. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean again, so I'm going to mute myself for a second. Alright, now that that's a little bit cleaned up, and not fully clean, obviously, but good enough for now. What I'm gonna do is turn it back off. I'm going to put the arm in the up position. Then, so something I'll show you is I have specifically cut out this sleeve right here so that I can unplug and plug back in this cable, because I have discovered in the past that can be the cause of the issue, and simply unplugging that and plugging it back in can, again, big can in all caps, can fix the issue possibly. So I'm going to unplug that. If it wants to. Okay. Seems okay. Okay. Plug that back in. Give it a little wiggle. Okay, hopefully we're back in business. Man, I wish that they would design this to just be a normal wire, just all the way through. I don't understand why I wish that there was no female and male connection, that it was just wiring, you know, just all the way through. Just solid cable, because I think that's the issue. Cross our fingers that is the issue. I do have this put to the side, which Mark 7 actually rebuilt for us because of this issue. As you can see, the sleeves are still cut because they redid everything. So if I absolutely have to, we'll have to shut down this machine for the time being, and I'll have to install the refurbished powder measure. Otherwise, we're kind of fucked at this point. Digital powder check, bullet sense, powder measure. I'm gonna run these casings through so that we can have the shell plate completely clear. Because I'm going to recalibrate the whole machine. No, I have the window open, but there was a bee that came in here. And so I had to close those, so the air's just not flowing properly right now. Whoa. That was weird. Well, now we're having the shell plates getting sticky. Yeah, we might have to pull this. We might have to completely take this thing apart. I love you. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to take this whole machine apart, so we're either going to transition over to the 9mm machine, which I was actually having the same issue on, so we might not be able to run that one either. So what we might end up doing is counting out what I have made into individual containers that I use to actually sell. But let's give this one more attempt. I want to clean this up as good as I can. I think that, whoa, my phone almost fell. So I think that the shell plate obviously is separate from the powder dispenser problem. It doesn't feel too hot, so it's not a heat issue. It's not overheating. But I'm gonna bring you guys closer here. So the shell plate is pretty. It like got stuck actually, and it should never do that. Oh yeah, there's something binding it up. I'm just gonna run it through. There it is again, binding, right there. You see that? Oh, it's like real stuck. And so now I'm wondering what is causing that. And I can see there's a good amount of powder down in these holes, so I imagine that the powder, because of those few errors, is actually binding the shell plate. So at this point, we're going to call it on this machine. We're just going to shut her down. I got a good amount made, so I've completely filled that entire bin. I don't know how many thousands of rounds that is. It's probably 2 or 3. I don't usually fill those all the way up. Hold on, I gotta get my wire up here so my GoPro doesn't, like, freak out and fall on us. I'm not gonna rip it apart right now. Just because that's a pretty intensive process. I might rip it apart and do a video, but it's hard for me to live stream and do that on the same time. So, at the same time. So, we have 2 options at this point that I think are our best options. I can either attempt to move over to the 9mm machine as long as we don't have a powder measure error similar to what this one just had. Or 2, we can actually count. We can count these guys out. What's your vote? You're the only person here, so it's literally unanimously your decision. Fill them up. All right, let's do it.